As Emma reached the assembly ground of her new school, she noticed the curious looks and whispers from the teachers and students. They were all wondering why she had left Emerald High, an upscale private girls' school, for this public high school. "That's her, the new girl. I heard she got kicked out of her old school. Look at her, acting all high and mighty," some students murmured. Despite this, Emma kept her head held high, found a spot at the back of the assembly, and waited quietly for the principal to begin. Mr. Carter, the principal of Pinecrest High, a tall man with a stern face, stepped onto the makeshift stage and cleared his throat loudly. "Good morning, students," he began, his voice booming across the field. "Today, we welcome a new student to our school. Emma, please come forward." Emma's heart raced as she walked to the front, feeling the judgmental eyes of hundreds assessing her every move. "This is Emma," Mr. Carter announced. "She's joining us from Emerald High. I expect all of you to make her feel welcome." As Emma stood in front of the assembly, the murmurs grew louder. Emerald High was well known, and many students wondered why she had left such a prestigious institution. After the assembly, Emma headed to her new classroom and chose a desk at the back, hoping to avoid further attention. However, as the other students filed in, many stared openly at her. A girl with bright red hair sat down next to Emma. "Hi, I'm Lucy," she greeted her with a smile. "You're the new girl from that fancy school, right?" Emma nodded, relieved to find someone friendly. "Yes, I'm Emma. Nice to meet you." Lucy leaned in, lowering her voice to a whisper. "Why did you leave your old school? It must have been something big to end up here." Emma's cheeks warmed, and she was about to respond when a boy's loud voice cut through the classroom chatter. "I bet I know why she left," he declared. "My cousin goes to Emerald, says there was a huge scandal about a girl sleeping with teachers for grades. Bet that was you, wasn't it?" The classroom fell silent, all eyes on Emma. "That's not true," Emma countered, her voice firmer than she felt. "Those were just rumors. I never did anything like that." The boy scoffed. "Sure, that's what they all say. Why else would you leave such a great school for this dump?" Lucy looked at Emma with wide eyes. "Is that true? Did you really?" Emma stood up abruptly, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. "I said it's not true," she reiterated firmly. "I'm here to study and learn, just like the rest of you. What happened at my old school is in the past." Their class teacher entered just then, ending the conversation, but Emma could still feel the stares and hear the whispers throughout the lesson. As the day went on, Emma found herself struggling to adapt to the teaching style at Pinecrest High, which was different from what she was used to, and the resources were more limited. In math class, when the teacher posed a question, Emma raised her hand to answer, just as she always had. "Ah, the new girl thinks she's smarter than all of us," a nearby girl muttered. Emma slowly lowered her hand, conflicted about whether it was worth drawing more attention to herself. During lunch break, Emma sat alone under a tree in the schoolyard, watching groups of friends laugh and chat, feeling more isolated than ever. Lucy approached her, carrying a lunchbox. "Mind if I join you?" she asked. Emma nodded, grateful for the company. As they sat down, Lucy spoke up. "Listen, about what that guy said in class, I'm sorry. It wasn't cool of him to spread rumors like that." Emma sighed. "Thanks, it's not true. Yes, I made some mistakes at my old school, but I never did anything that bad. I just want a fresh start." Lucy nodded thoughtfully. "You've got one here. It might not be as fancy as your old school, but Pinecrest isn't so bad once you get used to it." As they continued to chat, Emma felt a glimmer of hope that she might still be able to turn things around at her new school. This was just the beginning of her journey at Pinecrest High, where she would face her own set of challenges and opportunities for growth. As weeks passed, Emma slowly adapted to life at Central High. She focused on her studies and tried to ignore the persistent whispers and stares. One day, Mr. Brown, the English teacher, announced a writing competition. "The winner," he said, scanning the room, "will represent our school at the state level. I expect your best efforts." Emma's eyes sparkled with determination. This was her chance to prove her worth and dispel the rumors and gossip surrounding her. That evening, Emma dedicated herself to writing her story, infusing it with her experiences and emotions. When she finally finished, she felt a deep sense of pride in her work. On the day the results were announced, Mr. Brown stood before the class with a stack of papers. "I've read all your entries," he began, "and I must say I'm impressed, however." One entry stood out above the rest. "The winner is Emma." The classroom buzzed with mixed reactions as Emma walked up to receive her paper. "Excellent work, Emma," Mr. Brown complimented. "Your story was truly exceptional." Returning to her seat, Emma overheard a group of students whispering. "Of course she won. She probably used her old tricks to charm Mr. Brown," one said. "Yeah, she didn't even write it herself. Probably got help from her rich parents," another added. Emma felt her initial joy deflate. Would she ever escape her past? Lucy, who had become Emma's closest friend, noticed her distress. "Don't listen to them," she whispered. "You won fair and square. Your story was amazing." Despite Lucy's support, doubt crept into Emma's mind. That night, she spoke to her parents. "Mom, Dad," she began hesitantly, "I won the writing competition at school." Her parents beamed with pride. "That's wonderful, Emma," her mother exclaimed. But Emma continued, "Some students think I cheated. They don't believe I could have won on my own." Her father's expression turned serious. "Emma, we know you've been working hard to turn things around. Don't let anyone make you doubt yourself." Encouraged by her parents' words, Emma decided to tackle the rumors directly. The next day at school, she approached Mr. Brown after class. "Sir," she said, her voice trembling slightly, "I heard some students saying I might have cheated in the competition. I want you to know that I didn't. I wrote that story all by myself." Mr. Brown looked at her, surprised. "Emma, I never doubted that for a moment. Your writing has a unique voice that can't be faked. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Feeling bolstered by Mr. Brown's words, Emma resolved to prove her critics wrong. As the state-level competition neared, she immersed herself in preparation, spending hours in the school library researching and reading. Her dedication did not go unnoticed. One afternoon, Chitty, a top student in her class, approached her awkwardly by her table. Emma," he started, "I was wondering if you could help me with something. I'm struggling with the literature assignment and I heard you're really good at it." Emma was surprised. This was the first time someone other than Lucy had sought her help. "Sure," she replied with a smile. "What part are you having trouble with?" As they worked together, Emma found herself enjoying the teaching process. Word spread quickly, and soon, other students were seeking her help too. Lucy observed this transformation with pride. "Look at you," she said one day. "From outcast to unofficial tutor. I told you things would get better." Finally, the day of the state competition arrived. Emma felt a mix of nerves and excitement, especially when she learned that Elite Girls Academy, her old school, was also in the final round. She would be competing against her former peers. The competition was held in a large auditorium where Emma prepared to show everyone, especially those from her past, that she was more than just a pretty face. She was a talented writer determined to succeed on her own merits. As the weeks went by, Emma gradually settled into life at Central High. She kept her head down, focusing on her studies and trying to ignore the constant whispers and stares. One day, Mr. Brown, the English teacher, announced a writing competition. "The winner," he said, scanning the room, "will represent our school at the state-level competition. It's a significant opportunity, so I expect your best work." Emma saw this as a chance to prove herself and demonstrate that she was more than just rumors and gossip. When she got home, Emma poured her heart into writing her story, channeling her experiences and emotions into the narrative. After hours of dedicated work, she completed a piece she felt proud of. On the day the results were announced, Mr. Brown stood before the class, holding a stack of papers. "I've read all your entries and I must say I'm impressed, but one stood out above the rest. The winner is Emma." The classroom buzzed with mixed reactions as Emma walked up to receive her paper. "Excellent work, Emma," Mr. Brown complimented. "Your story was truly exceptional." As Emma returned to her seat, she overheard some students whispering, "Of course she won. She probably charmed Mr. Brown, and she didn't even write it herself, probably got help from her rich parents." Emma's initial joy deflated. Would she ever escape her past? Lucy, her closest friend, noticed her discomfort. "Don't listen to them," she whispered. "You won fair and square. Your story was amazing." Despite Lucy's encouragement, doubt lingered in Emma's mind. That evening, she spoke to her parents. "Mom, Dad," she hesitantly began, "I won the school's writing competition." Her parents beamed with pride. "That's wonderful, Emma," her mother exclaimed. However, Emma continued, "Some students think I cheated. They don't believe I could have one on my own." Her father's expression grew serious. "Emma, we know you've been working hard. Don't let anyone make you doubt yourself." Buoyed by her parents' support, Emma decided to confront the rumors directly. The next day, she approached Mr. Brown after class. "Sir," her voice shaky, "some students are saying I might have cheated in the competition. I want you to know that I didn't. I wrote that story all by myself." Mr. Brown looked at her, surprised. "Emma, I never doubted you for a moment. Your writing has a unique voice that can't be faked. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." Feeling reassured by Mr. Brown's words, Emma resolved to silence her critics. As the state-level competition approached, she threw herself into preparation, spending countless hours in the school library researching and reading. Her dedication caught the attention of others. One afternoon, Chitty, one of the top students, approached her tentatively at her table. Emma," he began, "could you help me with something? I'm struggling with the literature assignment, and I heard you're really good at it." Surprised by the request, the first from someone other than Lucy, Emma agreed. "Sure, what part are you having trouble with?" As they worked together, Emma found joy in teaching and explaining. Word spread, and soon other students sought her help as well. Lucy watched this transformation with pride. "Look at you," she said one day. "From outcast to unofficial tutor. I told you things would get better." Finally, the day of the state competition arrived. Emma was nervous, especially upon discovering that Elite Girls Academy, her old school, was also competing. The competition was held in a large auditorium. When it was Emma's turn, she took a deep breath and began reading her story. As she read, the room fell silent, everyone listening intently to her narrative about a girl who made mistakes but learned from them, a story that mirrored her own life. When Emma finished, there was a moment of silence, then thunderous applause. The judges deliberated for a long time before finally announcing, "The winner of this year's state writing competition is Emma Idris from Central High School." The students from Central High cheered loudly. Emma was overjoyed as she walked to receive her trophy, seeing her old teachers and classmates in the audience, realizing this could have been Elite Girls Academy's victory if they hadn't expelled her. Backstage, while calling her parents to share the good news, Emma encountered Lucy approaching her with tears. "Emma, can you ever forgive me?" Lucy cried. "I'm so sorry for spreading rumors about you." Emma, still angry, replied, "You told a lie that got me kicked out of school. I was jealous, and I let it control me," Lucy confessed, begging for forgiveness. Emma responded firmly, "If you want me to forgive you, tell everyone the truth," and walked away. Mr. Brown, who had come to watch, was beaming with pride. "Well done, Emma," he said. "You've made Central High School very proud." Back at Elite Girls Academy, Lucy confessed her actions. The principal, Miss Agata, was shocked. "Lucy, you almost ruined that girl's future with your lies." As punishment, Lucy had to repeat her grade and stay in school for 2 extra years, watching her classmates graduate ahead of her. Meanwhile, the teachers involved were dismissed for their misconduct. At Central High, perceptions of Emma changed significantly. Students stopped whispering about her past and began asking for her help with their studies. Emma's study group expanded, and one day she overheard students talking. "Remember when we thought she was just a rich, pretty girl?" one said. "Yeah, I feel bad about that now," another replied. "She's actually really nice and smart." Emma smiled to herself, feeling truly at home at Central High. At the end of the school year, Mr. Brown called her to his office. "Emma," he said, "I'm very proud of you. You've excelled in your studies and helped other students. You're a great student, and Central High is lucky to have you." Emma left the office with tears of happiness, grateful for the second chance Central High had given her. She had proven herself as more than just a pretty face. She was a champion, a helpful friend, and a proud student of Central High, ready to face any challenges that lay ahead. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you in my next story.